Okay, now how to cut a sleeve. To cut the sleeve first, I place the cloth down on the table, trying to make sure it is lay flat. Then I use my tape. Now I'm going to measure from the tape, from the base to the top of the shoulder. Remember, if you're cutting this way, cutting the front one deeper than the back, for me, I take the measurement from the front one, that one that is more deeper. It's going to suit in with the back one. That is the truth. So from here, after taking the measurements for this one, I have 11 3 quarter. 11 3 quarter is assumed to be 12. It's just about 0.2 remaining there. So instead of me to cut with 11 3 quarter, I cut with 12 inches. Note, I cut with 12 inches. Let me show you again. This is it. Watch carefully as I take the tape around it. See where my finger is. You see it's 11 3 quarter. But I'm just going to cut with 12 inches. So now I'll proceed to the table where I cut. Okay, over to the cutting. Now I'm going to fold the fabric first into 4 equal places. Remember, the size I want to cut is 12. So the length I will use, the width I will use for the sleeve folding. Sometimes I remove 1 inch, sometimes I remove 1.5 inches, or 2, depending on the body size of the customer. For this one, I remove 1 1/4 inches. The measurement I'm working with, the sleeve length is 10, the bicep is 16.5, and the round sleeve is 14. That's what I'm working with here. So now I'm going to take the measurement of the sleeve. If the sleeve is 10, I always like adding 3 inches that I use for folding in, because majorly I normally don't sew it. Sometimes I normally don't sew, but I prefer giving 3 inches. 3 inches looks more finer after ironing. So the sleeve length is 10, like you can see now. I'm adding more 3 inches to it, and half inches for seam allowance, which is a total of 13.5 inch. So I'll draw out 13.5 inch from two ends, the both ends. I roll it to make sure, yes, it is accurate. Remember, it is 4 piece, which means after cutting I'm going to get two sides. I go down by 5 inch, and at the other side where it is joined, I go horizontally by 3 inches. So from that place now, I'm going to do a curve down there. For the curve, you can decide to make use of your French curve, you can decide to make use of your armhole ruler, or you can decide to go with your free hand. It depends on the one you use. Majorly, I like going with my free hand. I just use my scissors to navigate through. But for the sake of the video, I'll be using a armhole ruler. So if you see the way I place it from one edge to the other edge. Yes. Remember, I told you I prefer using my hand. I enjoy using the hand to curve. Now I'm going to measure it to see where I have 12 inches. So you see it's 11 3 quarter. That's where I stop, remember. But because the fabric was too small, the fabric was not remaining, I had to reduce the size. So here it was reduced by 2 inches instead of 1.5 inches. So I went up a bit to make sure it gives me the required length, which is 12 inches I told you I'm going to use for the cutting. So after that, I measure it again to make sure I have the exact 12 inches I need. Okay, after that, I'm going to go down to mark the round sleeve. Note, before the round sleeve, you should remove the 3 inches you kept for the folding allowance. You should always do that first, because that is where you are drawing to. So after that, now I'm going to take the round sleeve, which is 14.5 plus 1 inches. I can decide to draw it straight this way, but remember, the hand is not straight. The hand have a curve. So instead of putting a straight line, I'm going to be drawing it with a curve. I'm going to be using my curve ruler to put a curve there. So this is what I mean by the curve. Now the other side that is slanted out is so that when I fold it in, it's going to match up with the other side. After that, I forgot to press it before folding. That's why I'm pressing it now, so the edge can be smooth to avoid having one side bigger than the other. So after that, now I'm going to simply cut across the line I drew. So this is how to cut the sleeve. Now, if you are the type of person that cuts the way I cut, or let me say the way we cut, the front shoulder lower than the back side, then all you have to do now is to open the two sleeves, lay them together, then remove the other side of the hand. That is what you have to do now. Open the two sleeves, lay them together, then you place down the fabric like you see me doing. You see the way it is. So because the front is lower than the back, I have to make the sleeve also one side in, one side out. So when I place the two of them together, I will achieve the same fitting. If I cut the two sleeves to be equal, when you put it together, the same rumple you are avoiding at the sleeve, you will still get the same rumple. So since you reduce the front and enlarge the back because of the broader shoulder at the back, you have to do that to the sleeve. So like I cut the sleeve, so I'm going to cut the, like I cut the shoulder, so I'm going to cut the sleeve. So taking it away by not really any particular inches. I can't tell if there's any particular inches, but I use my eye gauge. There is a ruler that does this job perfectly. And there is another simpler way you can do this, which I'm going to be explaining probably in the next video. But for now, just remove, let me just say 1/4 inches or 3/4 inches. Yeah, 0.75. You do that to the first one, do that to the back one. After doing this, it's very important you note the left and the right. Note the left and the right. If not, you're going to be joining the back, the right to the left, left to the right, and it's not going to fit. When you do it, you will see that it will not fit. So please, after that, you note it, left side and the right side. So that is how you get it. Please, if this video was helpful to you, do it to subscribe, like, and follow. Please do it to subscribe so I can be able to do more for you. Thank you.